Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what time you're watching this. My name's Steve Rafferty. I'm the town's water superintendent, and we're now just a little bit beyond 2 years since we started construction out here. Where I'm standing 2 years ago was trees and gravel. Dug a big hole. I think some of you saw that. We put the concrete in, we put the building up, we put all the equipment inside of it. And we're now at the point where we're doing the finishing touches. We're going to do final paving next week if everything goes according to schedule. You'll see shortly, I hope, a little bit of where the budding grass is coming up from where we've loamed and seeded. There's not many people inside because although it's a good sized plant, it's a plant designed to run automatically and be monitored remotely. It's a true state-of-the-art facility that the town, the state, and anybody that's in the profession can be proud of, and that the town will get excellent water from. We're making water today, and the water that we're making is not going yet to your house. We have a big pond out back that we're allowed to dump it into, and then it soaks back into the ground and goes through the groundwater back to the pond so we don't waste any of it. So let's go inside. So we're out here in the treatment plant portion of the facility. A little bit of background noise because we have pumps and motors running. But what I'm standing to right next to is the dissolved air flotation thickener. This is where the water first comes into the plant. We've added a coagulant, polyaluminum chloride, which helps to pull the algae in the pond together a little bit. The stainless steel pipes behind me are putting in a combination of water and air and making very, very tiny bubbles. You can't see the tiny bubbles today. They're coming in at the far end of this tank. And this nice brown carpet you're looking at down here is algae that's been in the pond that we're removing by floating little air bubbles up underneath it. The clean water is sinking down and going out pipes from the bottom of this tank and going over through the ozone contactor. So after we remove the algae from the water, the next step is that it leaves this building, goes to a couple of tanks outside where we add ozone to it to oxidize the water and help to break down things that are less visible than the algae. There's still a lot of little particles in the water. We want to give it that really good clean polishing, and we want to run it over activated carbon, much like anybody that's got a home filter before we built this plant used an activated carbon filter to get that final polish on their water that arrives at their house. I'm standing next to one of 4 filter tanks. The water is coming into the filter tank. When you get a chance to see down inside the tank, it's hard to see the water moving because it's not intended to move very rapidly. It's intended to go through very slowly and work efficiently. So we're downstairs now in the piping gallery. And this pipe here is coming from the ozone contactor. It's got the ozonated water in it. And when we were doing the backwash, this is the water that's got to get into the tank to go through the filter. Up above me, there's a 30-inch valve. That valve is operated by pneumatic air, and it opens and closes. So when we were watching the backwash before, that valve closed to stop the water coming in. And then when the backwash was all finished, that valve opened back up again to reintroduce the water back in to the filters. So we're sort of wrapping up the tour of the finished facility at this point. And we're standing in the lab. And the reason we have a lab, even though it's an automated plant and we've got all sorts of measuring devices spread throughout the plant, we trust, but we like to verify. We didn't have a lab like this before. We had a much more basic lab. This is going to make a big difference in being able to ensure the highest level of water for you, the citizens of Falmouth. We appreciate your patience while we've been getting the plant ready and bringing it online. And we hope you enjoy the water you're going to see going forward.